So since it is Asian Pacific American Heritage Month, I would like to tell the story of how I developed my fear of every single animal. I know that doesn't make sense, but I promise it'll make sense once I tell the story. So back when I was 8 years young, my sister was having her debut. If you don't know what a debut is, it is basically this big Filipino celebration for people who are turning 18. And debuts are normally celebrated by Filipino girls, but I also had a debut, kind of, but it was for when I was 17, and I have a lot of stories from that I would like to share, but I'll save that for another time. Anyway, debuts are typically really grand, and there's a typical standard for what is normally happening at every debut, though there is some room for alteration. Debutantes usually have a court of around 18 people so that they could do some really nice rehearsed dances together, kind of like a quinceañera. I mean, it makes sense, we were both colonized by the same people. Debuts also usually have two segments to them, one called the 18 Roses and the other called the 18 Candles. The 18 Roses are typically 18 men that the debutante chooses to do a short dance with one by one, and then the 18 Candles are normally 18 women that give speeches about the debutante. So now that I have sort of laid the groundwork for what to expect from debuts, now I can get into the story. So obviously I was the first one there. It's my sister's debut we're celebrating, so I need to be there early. So I'm dressed up all fancy like in a suit, but also a barong. And a barong is like a white long sleeve sort of see-through formal shirt that Filipinos wear for all type of occasions. Fun fact, I don't know if this is true or not, but I heard that barongs are made sort of see-through in order to identify whether or not someone had a weapon on them, so that's very fun. So other family starts walking into the venue, and of course it is always the polite thing to greet them. And it's always exciting to hear what stereotypical things the aunties want to ask, like, do you have a girlfriend yet? Or, you're so big now. And to that I always respond with, what do you mean by big? And that's when they always retreat. So now that the guests have arrived, it is now time to start serving the food. So we have a bunch of Filipino dishes going around, such as pancit or kare-kare, sinigang, and a whole roasted pig in the middle of the table. Sorry, vegans. Personally, I don't really like foods with a lot of flavor because I'm very picky, so I was satisfied with just a tower of lumpia. While we're all enjoying our delicious food, the video montage starts playing, which everyone gives your typical oohs and ahs towards, which is really funny. I really think every meal should be accompanied with a video montage of our life because that would be really embarrassing. So the montage is playing and you can't really hear the music over the loud clanging of everyone's cuchillo and tenedor hitting the platos. And I started getting sick of only eating lumpia, so I asked my mom if there's anything else that I can eat, but I still have the thought in the back of my mind of my titas calling me big. I know what they meant. My mom asks the waiter if there's any children's meals, and the waiter comes back with a tray of freshly microwaved chicken nuggets. My favorite. So I start eating them at lightning speed until I begin to think again about what my tita said about me. So I stopped eating them and put the rest in my pocket to save them for later. I wander about outside contemplating what my tita said about my size. Obviously, I knew that they were talking about my height. I'm just an overthinker and insecure about everything. I was such an overdramatic 8-year-old. So eventually, I find a pond near the golf course behind the venue and I start staring into the water like Troy Bolton bet on it High School Musical 2 style. I stare deeply into my own reflection to find an answer as to why my titas would say such a thing. That is when a raccoon friend slowly walks up right next to me and starts sniffing at the chicken nuggets in my pocket. I automatically think the raccoon is kind because, you know, child innocence, so I give it a chicken nugget. And it really likes it, and so it starts begging me for another one and another one. And so I tell him I have to wait just a second just so I could get some more for both of us. So I run back inside to find my mom, but I am immediately stopped by the performance of the debut court. My sister doesn't dance all formal like, so it was really funny seeing her and 17 of her friends all dance in sync to 1,000 Years from Twilight. Finally, the dance finishes and I rush over to my mom to ask for more chicken nuggets, and so she gets me some more and I have to run back out to my new raccoon pally. We start eating the nuggets together right above the pond, but again, I run out, so I have to go back in and get some more. But this time I ran in on the 18 Roses and 18 Candles going on. It just so happens that I am one of the 18 Roses, so they quickly grab me and put me in line with the other roses, and I have to wait my turn to dance with my sister. I start getting anxious because the line is moving so slowly and I want to get back to my raccoon friend. At last, I'm able to do the dance with my sister, and here's a picture to prove that I'm not lying. Once that is over, I quickly run over to my mom again and ask her for more chicken nuggets. She tells me just to go over to the waiter and ask him myself, so I do that and he so kindly brings me them with such great haste. So I run back outside to reconvene with the raccoon, and it is just politely sitting there waiting for me. My cousins see me keep going outside and they follow me out, and at first they freak out because I'm sitting there talking to a raccoon, but I explained to them that it's friendly. But they're like quickly trying to urge me to come back inside because my song is playing. And by my song, I mean the Ocho Ocho song, which was like my favorite dance growing up. If you don't know what the Ocho Ocho dance is, you really need to look it up because it is the funniest thing. But I swear, this DJ, he knew all of my chants because he played them all back to back to back from your standard hits like the Cha-Cha Slide, YMCA, and Cupid Shuffle, you know, the usual. But also, if there's anything I've learned from Filipino parties, it is how to dance to 3 of my favorite songs. 1, Sway by Michael Bublé. 2, Toro 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 by Daniela Roma, and 3, Achy Breaky Heart by Billy Ray Cyrus, because you know them Filipinos like to have a good hoedown throwdown. If you guys want to see a dance tutorial, comment down below, but I won't do it. So after dancing my heart out for a good hour, I finally break from the dance floor and take a large chug of water. As I'm drinking, I look around and see my poor old raccoon buddy staring at me from outside the window all sad. I completely forgot about it. So I threw my water and ran back out to take care of it. So I go back out there and the raccoon looks at me all mad. It starts growling at me, hoping for some more chicken nuggets, but it seems like they had all fallen out of my pockets as I was dancing. So I try to explain that I don't have any more chicken nuggets, and the raccoon gets closer and closer to me. Obviously, me being 8 years old, I don't know what to do with an angry raccoon. So as it gets closer and closer to me, I start running away screaming out of fear. The raccoon chases after me, trying to bite my tail, and that was the scariest part of my life ever. Fortunately, I'm able to run back inside the venue and lock the door behind me so that my raccoon can't get back in. I sigh a breath of relief, and I move back to my table to finish my water. Suddenly, the MC gets back on the mic and announces that we're at the end of the night, but before the party can end, we need to sort of clean up by having a game. So with these kind of parties, we like to play a game where someone at each table pulls out $1 and we have to pass it around the table several rounds. People are eliminated from the game until there's finally one winner per table who can take the centerpiece home. My grandmother, being my grandmother, she goes up to all of my cousins and tells us all to win at each of our tables because she loves taking the centerpieces home. That's her brand, don't judge her. But it was at that moment when I began to think, who is the real thief? The raccoon or my grandmother?